Hey YouTube, this is my update on my fish tanks. So I got this mixed bunch of plants, and when I first planted them they all looked like that, and then they started shooting up these stems that kind of turned into elongated looking lily pads, and they've got these cool little flowers that came up. And they're coming way up out of the tank now. So I thought that was pretty cool. My little flagfish in there. And then I've got those two Madagascar rainbow fish. And then a bunch of brilliant rasboras. So everything's looking pretty good in this tank. The Amazon sword, or whatever this one is, the leaves that had all the holes, I pulled them off and I've got root tabs around it, and the new leaves coming in look like they're growing in well. They're growing in normally, which is good. I've got that pleco in there. He has done really good work of cleaning up all the algae off of the back of the tank along the whole backside. He's cleaned all that off. He's cleaned off most of the algae that was growing on all these rocks, and he's been working on that rock recently. I think he does most of his work at night, which makes sense because plecos are essentially catfish and they're nocturnal. So this tank, the 75 gallon, is looking good. I'm really enjoying the plant growth and the way these fish are getting along. So yeah, that's how that one's going. The old turtle tank is still empty. I have the filter running on it still because I am going to reseal it. I did get in my silicone so I can pull all the old silicone off of this side. You can see some of the hard water stains. It leaks right here. My finger's wet just running it along that side. So I will eventually tear that down. I might do that. Tomorrow's my day off, so I may empty it tomorrow, seal it up, let it sit for a day or two, and then go from there. I do like that it's rimless. I don't think it was originally rimless. I think it did have a top rim, but even the bottom rim is coming off. So I kind of think, because this is such an old tank, that the rim broke on the previous owner and they just peeled it off. But it's fairly thick glass, so it may have originally been rimless. But yeah, so far everything is growing well with the night crew light, or night cam, or whatever it was called, the cheap light I got off Amazon. Everything seems to be growing well with that. So for the price, can't beat it. It's a great light. Over here in the 80-gallon tank, the red tiger motos that have had multiple spawns now are doing well. There's not many of the babies left. I think they ate them, but that's fine. I'm not trying to grow them out or sell them or anything. I just let these guys do their thing, and whatever happens with the fry happens. He was going nuts today trying to get at her, just chasing her everywhere. Her fins are all tattered, and the last thing I want is for him to stress her out, or even worse, kill her. So I had the lids that used to be on this tank. I put this hood on there and I took the lids off, and I have the extra lids that used to be on the 75 gallon. So I just put them in there, leaned them up against the log. I've got the mag float holding the other one where they overlap. So it's pushing that one against that side, and you know, pulling this one to this side. That way he can't get in on the edges. The only thing I'm worried about is that little gap between the panes. But I put enough gravel there, I don't think he'll be able to push his way through. So I'm going to keep an eye on it today and tomorrow. And I'll just leave it like this for a while and see what happens. Let him calm down. What I did with this Aqueon 350 filter, sorry, all I'm getting is a water spots on the glass. I should have cleaned it. But what I did with this filter is I just did a water change and I was cleaning the pads, but because I put that divider in, half of the outlet is on this side of the glass and half of it is on that side of the glass. So I only cleaned it on one side. So most of the water flow, you can see, goes out on the right and hardly any goes out on the left. So I'm essentially filtering this side of that divider with this filter and then that side of the divider with that filter. But there's enough biological bacteria in the substrate that I'm not really worried about it. These filters are really set up more as just water polishers than anything. And I can't get this stupid piece to go back on. There we go. And then my 10 gallon with the Fluval 2.0 light is growing the plants very well. Everything is looking really good in here. That one little guppy is still in here doing good. And all the plants are doing well. The algae eater has done his work and he's always munching around and he's always looking fat and happy. And I have a, where is he? He's in here somewhere. I just barely saw him go back there. I have a Betta in here. I was at the store getting some fertilizer and I picked up those other plants in the 75 gallon and I came across this dude and I thought he had really cool color. So I threw him in this little tank and he does really good. He's loving it. The couple of fry from the red tigers that were in this tank in the last few days have disappeared. I haven't seen any of them. I'm kind of thinking the Betta might have ate them. But again, I'm not that worried about it. I wasn't really trying to grow them out. I threw them in there just to see if this tank could support life before I started adding any other stock. And they were surviving fine until he entered. The guppy I threw in there a long time ago when I threw in the babies, he's actually still in here. I don't see him right now, but whenever I throw food in there, he comes out and he picks it whatever hits the water. So yeah, this one I'm really happy with. The plant growth has exploded. Everything is doing well. The ones I've planted, you see a lot of new growth. There's a lot of times I see these leaves pearling and just streams of bubbles coming off as they release their oxygen into the water column. And this tank has really done well. I'm extremely happy with it. Some of the grasses died off and melted away, but some of them are doing good. They've got new growth. They're coming back. And some didn't completely melt away and die. So that's cool. But what's that in the back? I think it's Rotella. That is doing decent in this tank. The leaves aren't red like they used to be, but they aren't melting or dying. So in this tank, the Rotella is doing, it's surviving. It's not thriving, but it's surviving. So that's more than I can say than the piece I put in the 75 gallon. The piece I put in the 75 gallon is all but completely melted away. A lot of the leaves fell off. And earlier, the stem at the base had rotted, and I had to replant it. So I don't know if it's going to survive in this tank. This tank is just so much deeper. I don't think it's getting the same amount of light. And obviously, just having sand and root tabs, it doesn't have the nutrients that the dirt tank does. So there's a lot of variables. I don't know if it'll survive in here, but I'm going to give it a shot. I don't run CO2 on anything, and I know I've heard the Rotala does a lot better in CO2 injection tanks, but yeah, I'm not planning on running CO2, so we'll see. We'll see. Eventually, I would like to have planted high-tech tank with CO2 and all that, but for right now, I'm doing low-tech, keeping it cheap, and making it as easy as possible. But I really do like those little flowers that have come up. I think they're really interesting. And I don't know what this plant is. If you know what that plant is, leave a comment below and let me know. But I'm really happy with the way it all looks. Everything is doing well, and I will keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching.